Yeah, I was very interested in the idea and your proposal to ask McCain a question about whether he thinks it's okay to essentially drop munitions and bombs on innocent civilians. Uh, However, McCain's POW record, I mean, it seems to be front and center in the campaign. Do you really think that Barack Obama should walk down that line to open up those questions? I mean, it sort of would be, I guess, not a reverse Swift vote because the Swift votes were untrue, and I think that your point is right that we should ask questions about our military policy. But is that really the direction you think Obama should take this campaign?
I think that anytime Obama or anytime McCain uses his POW status, or especially the Vietnam War, to attack Obama's patriotism or his service to what he's done for this country, then it's fair game because McCain has put it on the table. I wrote that chapter after I saw that commercial of McCain's where it begins with the summer of love and the hippies and rock and roll, and the announcer goes, while some people were, getting high and free love and all that, John McCain was flying missions over Vietnam, and he's the real hero. Well, let me say this about that. I feel really bad about what happened to McCain, and nobody would wish that on their worst enemy, what he had to go through 5.5 years in a POW camp. And we should all be as generous as possible toward him for the suffering that he had to go through. But for him to disparage those who stood up against an illegal and immoral war as being anything but heroes themselves, everybody who stood up against that war, everybody who stood up against this war is a hero, is a brave American. And to separate those who seek peace and to say only those who flew bombing missions and bombed civilian populations, which those aren't my words, those are McCain's words from his own autobiography, where he said that we bombed heavily populated areas of North Vietnam. They weren't just bombing military troops or military gunners or whatever. They were dropping bombs on neighborhoods. And in fact, when he was shot down, he dropped bombs on a neighborhood, on an electrical plant that was in a neighborhood in the capital city of Hanoi, very densely populated. And as Robert McNamara said, and I quote him in my book, we were killing essentially about 1,000 civilians a week, civilians. And they did that for 44 months during Operation Rolling Thunder, which is what the missions were that McCain flew during that time. So anybody who thought that was wrong and said so and protested against it, or refused to go and kill Vietnamese, those people are heroes in my book. And I think a lot of Americans feel that way too. So as long as McCain doesn't want to disparage people who are pro-peace, he can have his whole thing and what he did, and he feels good about it, whatever. But when he throws it out and says that everybody else wasn't patriotic, well, them's fighting words. And the Democrats and Obama, again, better take off the gloves and start fighting.